Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing this evening? It is currently 11:29 p.m. on this beautiful Tuesday evening. It is 61 degrees outside, but it feels a lot warmer. And I am awake. I am wide awake. I have 20 minutes left of Dexter. And then, where's my new Sol de Janeiro lip balm that I took with us to Miami because I thought I would run out of the other one, but I didn't run out of it until I got back here. Anyway, so I put this in my bag tonight, or this afternoon, or this early evening, doesn't matter. But anyway, I'm gonna finish Dexter, and then I'm gonna start the true crime book club, our true crime book club book for this month, which is People Who Eat Darkness. And Alex and I are trying to buy patio chairs for, well, we're not trying, we're like going back and forth over what we like for patio chairs for our front porch. So I'm gonna get rid of the glider, and he was real excited about all of the, did I even talk about this on here? I think, or did I talk, because I did it live. Did I vlog today, or did I vlog last night? Why don't I even remember? I feel like I vlogged last night. Well, anyway, I think I talked about this, but I talked about it on my Peter Does Stuff channel. I ordered new sheets from Buffy, because that's where we got our comforter and our new pillows, and I love that website. And you get to try this stuff, and if you don't like it, you can send it back, but who's gonna send back sheets, right? So anyway, I ordered eucalyptus sheets that were white, and I ordered a white duvet cover that's eucalyptus. I don't know if that's like the material, I guess, so I don't know really what that means, but I'm excited about it. And then I ordered 4 like bohemian boho pillows. Did I talk about this last night? I feel like I did. Yeah, I did, because I ordered it last night before I left. Or did I? Pillows from Wayfair. But anyway, they're like shipped already. They're like on the way. All of it is on its way. So I'm excited about that. So the bedroom, I looked over at that guy, and I thought he had like one of those Richard Nixon masks on. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like those rubber Richard Nixon masks. Do you know that the mask in Halloween was actually it was like modeled after the guy that was on Star Trek, Captain Kirk? I think it's something like that. Let me know if you know the truth behind that story, because it's something like that. It's like that mask spray painted white or something like that. But anyway, so Alex was really excited about the stuff I bought. He was like, oh, this is gonna look really nice in here, so I'm really excited about that. And then I was telling him, I said, I wanna get like some like wicker, or not true wicker, but like fake wicker, 2 chairs on the patio and get rid of the glider, but I want to get like swivel gliding chairs. I actually saw a set at Costco, but in all honesty, I don't want to go pick up the box and have to bring it home because it's super heavy, and then I'm gonna have to get somebody to help me at Costco and like that whole ordeal. I don't want, and like load it into the car. And so I thought, well, I'll just order it and then they can deliver it, but they don't have any of the sets at Costco left. I looked, and the one there was like 5 something, and the one online is like 8 something, and it doesn't have a table with it. So I'm like, okay, they're not the same ones, but we both liked the ones that they had at Costco, so I may go, and if they still have a set left, I'm just gonna buy that set, because I want 2 chairs that are like glider swivel chairs that are comfortable, because I'm gonna be the one out there, because Alex is like, oh, are you gonna make your little reading nook for the spring and summer? And I was like, yeah, that's what I want to do. And he was like, I think that's great. And I said, I want to get a table in between, you know, for like putting my coffee and candles and stuff on. And then the IKEA table I'm gonna put to the side. I may get another IKEA table that's a little taller than that, because they're real cheap. They're like 20 bucks, these metal tables. I may get one that's a little taller, and then I want to put like 2 ferns on it, and then hang a fern as well, and then have like 3 ferns on the patio. And then maybe also get some flowers out there for summer. I think would be real pretty. And then that would be all we would need for the front deck. Then get the walkway, have the landscaper do the walkway, and then the backyard as well. We already have all that great furniture in the backyard, so we don't need anything new with that. We just need to have the deck whatever, power washed and sealed. So I've got to find somebody to do that. But that should be pretty easy. And then that's going to be, I'm going to do that here on the Love channel. Pop 70 Love is Roberta Flack singing Feel Like Making Love. I would have liked to have been a DJ back in the day on the radio, like late night love songs and tell little stories. Hi. This is Peter with Late Night Love Songs. You're on line 3. Well, Peter, my husband left me. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Tell me what happened. Well, I just wanted to call in tonight, and I wanted to say I'm lonely, and I wanted to request a love song. And what's your name, darling? My name is Judy. Judy Smith. Well, Judy Smith, what song can I play for you to cheer you up a little bit? Well, I'd like to hear a special song. It was Earl and I's favorite song together. And it's I Can't Make You Love Me by Bonnie Raitt. Truer words have never been said, Judy. This one goes out to you. Don't you think I would have been such a good late night love song radio person back in the day? I would. I think I would have loved it. I feel like making love. Who's that? I think that's not Bonnie Raitt, but it's somebody like that, isn't it? Anyway. Those were the kind of songs that like drag queens did when I came out. Like they always did like stuff like that. I'll never forget there was this one drag queen. She's my age. She was probably 2 years younger than me at the time. In Indianapolis, her name was Samantha Sinclair, and she did, I don't even know if she's still around or not, but she used to do Melissa Etheridge songs. And oh my God, I loved Melissa Etheridge so much. That one song, what was that one song? And I can remember the very first time I ever saw her, and it was at Tomorrow's, which was a drag bar on Meridian. It was right next to the Wendy's. It's now like a liquor store or something. But back then it was this bar called Tomorrow's. It was the very first, I think it was the very first bar I ever went in. And I went in carrying somebody's drag is how I got into the bar. And I remember she came out and she did that Melissa Etheridge song, that dun, 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 dun. You're the Only One. Is that what it's called? I love that song. Something like that, but you know what I'm talking about. So I got my coffee. I had a good day today, but I was so tired all day. I don't know what happened. Like, I got up. Well, I think partly this is what happened. I think this is a lot of what happened. I got up, I slept in, and then I was doing stuff around the house, and I was like, you know what? Like, I really, at first, I honestly was like, I just think that I'm like, take a day and just like read and like watch movies and stuff, or watch like RuPaul's Drag Race UK. Why is my nose bothering me so much? Allergy season is back again. Do you remember when like my nose would bother me so much because I would like, from trimming my beard really short? I wonder if I trimmed my beard tonight before I went to my meeting. I wonder if that's what it is. But I was so tired when I woke up. I just was like dragging, so I hardly could wake up. And so I was doing stuff around the house, and I was getting ready to go. I was going to go do a review video. And I was actually going to do a booktube video too, like a vlog. And then I was like, you know what? I think I'm just going to watch first an episode of RuPaul's Drag Race. And it was at like 3:30 or something. UK, Drag Race UK. I'm on the 2nd season. So I was like, I'm going to make lunch because I probably won't eat before I go to the meeting. So I'll make a little lunch dinner, you know? So I made a cheese sandwich, and I had potato salad and Pringles. And then I brought out the extra cake that I had, like a big piece. I cut off like a big piece of cake from Easter, and I ate like half of it. And I was so tired afterwards. I just was like every time I eat, I'm always so tired afterwards. You know, I've always been like that ever since I was a kid. And I was like I could go back to bed right now, but I'd only been up for, you know, 3 or 4 hours at that point. So I was like, okay, Peter, go. So I was like, I'm gonna go get my coffee. So I left, and I went and got my coffee, and I did a review video. And then I came home, and I was gonna make a drama video. And, oh, I drove around for a little bit listening to Dexter because I was so into it. I'm really loving those books. If you want a good series to get into, Dexter is like, Mel was right. It's like a fantastic series. It's really, really good. And they're kind of like edge on your seat thrillers, but at the same time, like, Dexter's so funny, the way that he narrates the books. Like, once you get into what the story is, which is it's really like a serial killer who hunts serial killers, once you get into that, it's like, I mean, I'm not ruining it for you because you know that right going into it. Like, I mean, that's exactly what happens, like, right as you're going into the first one. But once you can kind of get behind that idea and you've like figured out that that's what it's about, it's like, and you're like, okay, like, I've accepted Dexter as a person, which I kind of think you have to do. You know, it's like, then the rest of the book is like, so, the books are so great. His sister, like, she told me that her favorite character, Mel told me her favorite character was his sister, Deborah, in it. And I love Deborah in the books. And they remind me of some other books I've read. I can't remember what they are, though. But they're good. They're really good. So I'm going to finish that. And then I'm going to read People Who Eat Darkness, because that's the true crime book for a true crime book club for this week. And we're going to have the live stream on Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And yeah, and then tomorrow I'm going to make a bunch of videos, because I didn't do a drama video today. I didn't do a Peterisms video today. I have been vlogging every day on my Peter Does Stuff channel for the month of April. So tomorrow I'm going to be making vegetarian chicken salad. We'll see how that goes for that channel. I'm loving that channel. I'm having so much fun. Because this is like a vlog channel where I like drive around and I talk. And you guys have said it's like a podcast from time to time. But that channel is like legit like an old school like vlog channel. Like every day it's like a little something different. Like I'm talking or I'm doing something. And it's just like whatever I want to do over there. And so it's similar but so very different from this channel. And where I just like am sharing, you know, parts of myself, and I'm having so much fun with that channel. Because if I just want to sit there and talk, I can do that. And if I want to do something, I can do that too. And it's like I don't have to explain it. It doesn't have to make any sense, you know, it just is. So anyway, and I didn't do a booktube video. So I didn't do a booktube drama, or I didn't do a booktube video, a drama video, or a Peterisms video. So when I was looking at patio furniture tonight, I found these chairs from West Elm that were so cute. And I was like, oh, I love these chairs. And I showed them to Alex. And he was like, how much are they? And they were $1,000 each. My cousin Caroline, I said, where do you think that we should get furniture like for our house? She's like, oh, because I said something about we really liked what we saw at Ashley Home Furniture, but like everybody tells us not to. And Caroline was like, don't buy from Ashley Home Furniture. She's like, they won't send it to you for like, I don't know, 10 or 12 weeks, she said. Other people have told me like 16 weeks it takes for you to get furniture and stuff from there. I mean, we don't have the house redone yet, so we're not getting new furniture till then. But she was like, I would wait until then, and I was like, okay. And this car is like weaving in and out of the lane. I want to stay ahead of it. Yeah, they just went over the line. Or maybe I'll let them go ahead of me. Why are they weaving? Oh, he's looking right at me. But these chairs at West Elm, Caroline's like, oh, West Elm always has like good deals and stuff. They do. I love their stuff. I think their stuff is cute, but I've never known them to have good deals. The only one walk across the fire for you. Oh, by the way, I'm not going to vlog for a really long time tonight because I do want to get those books going and stuff. So anyway, I was real tired. And then when I went to go do the review video, I was still really tired. Like, I just couldn't wake up. I don't know what it was. Our house was really hot. Alex came home tonight. He's like, I turned the air conditioning on. It's way hot in our house, which I'd be totally fine to just open the windows in the evening. I have bad allergies, but like Alex has extraordinarily bad allergies. So if we open the windows, like all night long, he sneezes and he can't handle it. So I was like, okay. He was like, do you care that I turn the air conditioner on? I'm like, no. I mean, we're going to have to turn it off in like 3 or 4 days because it's going to go. I mean, today it was like upper 70s. It was like 77, 70 something. And like next week it's supposed to be in the 60s. I mean, we're not gonna need the air conditioning on when it's in the 60s. But I mean, for a couple days we could turn it on. It was hot. Like tonight, he was taking a shower. He just got out of the shower when I got home from my meeting, and because he went and did his what do you call it? He went and did his yoga tonight, his Pilates or whatever. And so he came home and ate dinner, and then he took a shower and stuff while I was gone. So he had just gotten out of the shower when I got home, and he's like, it's so hot up here. He turned the fan on. I'm like, I know it is. He has somewhere to go, apparently. Do you hear that? My Lord. I saw a good friend of mine tonight. It was great seeing her. I hadn't seen her in a while. And she'd gone back out and she came back in. And I always have such hope for people, you know. I feel like if you make it back into a 12-step program, you know, if that's where you want to be. I'm not saying that's where you have to be. I'm saying if that's where you want to be and you've gone back out, it's like a miracle that you made it back in. I mean, I think, you know, we say that we're all miracles, and I believe that. You know, I mean, I should be dead. And it was so good seeing her. It made me so happy tonight. She gave me like a big hug, and I was like, I said, you are my gift. We were talking outside before we walked inside, and I said, she's like, it was so good seeing you. And I was like, you know what? You are my gift tonight. It was just made me so happy to see you. She and I used to have so much fun. We used to laugh so hard. The meeting was really good tonight, too. There were quite a few people there. Today was the first day that I think that Indiana went to just like mask suggestions or whatever. Like when we lowered like whatever, I don't know. I didn't look at it, but I did see, because I follow like the local news stations on Twitter, and like one of them, like 59, which is like Fox 59, there was an article that was saying on Twitter today that like even though the state passed that we're going to like suggestive masks, which I don't know how I feel about that. I'll still wear a mask. And I think most people probably will for a while. But it said that each county is going to make the decision. So it's like, even though Indiana passed it, like the county decides like what the law is going to be in that county. Which will be interesting because so like I'm in Indianapolis right now, but in like 2 minutes I'll be in Hamilton County. So what's interesting, like Tanya lives in Hamilton County and I live in Marion County. So the entire Indianapolis area is Marion County. And the entirety of Marion County is Indianapolis as well. So it's like the same thing. Like Indianapolis and Marion County are the same thing. But Hamilton County is to the north. That's where I grew up. It's like Carmel, Noblesville, Fishers, Westfield, a couple other places. Or is it just says 4 cities? I don't know. But anyway, you literally, I'll show you up here. You cross the street and you're in Marion County, and then you cross the street. Like on this street, you're in Marion County, and then you cross the street and you're in Hamilton County. It's like crazy, right? And so it's going to be interesting because when we were like on the lockdown and all that kind of stuff, like Indianapolis, Marion County, we stayed on the lockdown for like 2 or 3 weeks longer than like Hamilton County. And the hours changed and stuff. So in Marion County, you could like restaurants were only open until like 8 or 10 or something like that. But in Hamilton County, they stayed open like past midnight. So you could literally go across, like Taco Bell would be closed down here, but you could go across the street and it would be open. Isn't that crazy? And it's a lot of like the mayor and the governor like not being on the same page or stuff. I don't keep up with that, so I don't really know. I just do what I'm told to do. But I know at our meetings we're keeping, I'm assuming we're keeping the spacing. You have to be 6 to 10 feet away from each other. You have to wear a mask. You have to use hand sanitizer when you come in, all that kind of stuff. I know we're keeping that in place. but I don't know for how long. Nobody's discussed it. It's going to be interesting to see how quickly things change here. I haven't personally witnessed tons of people being resistant to like masks and stuff in Indianapolis. Like I think there's only been like one instance where I've actually been somewhere where like the manager is saying like, can you put on a mask or something, and I don't really even remember it, but I feel like it like just it ended very quickly. It wasn't like, you know, you see those video clips online and stuff like that. I mean, I've had a lot of friends of mine that have said things that they feel like either way, you know, like some of my friends are very like pro-mask, and my other friends are like, they don't love them, but they do what they're told, you know? So I don't know, we'll see what happens. I mean, I don't have any friends or family that are like, I'm not wearing a mask. Like, I've never had any. I don't know anybody that's been like that. So we'll see. I'm fine wearing it. Like, it's at a point now where I'm like, if it's gonna keep people safer, like, I'm fine wearing it, you know? Especially till we can see the results, I think, of like the vaccines and how like they're really working and all of that, you know? I don't know. And I don't know anything about the numbers and any of that stuff anymore. I do know that I saw an article that said that the age of those most at risk has changed, and it's now like really young. And so like, you know, not like young, but like college age kids, which doesn't surprise me, you know, like with how the vaccinations are going and stuff. Like if they're working like that, you would think that that would be the case anyway. But I know in Indiana now it's like 18 and over, so which is weird because I can remember talking to Tanya in like January, and at that point it was like 70 or 80 or something like that. And she said, I can remember we were talking about it, and she's like, yeah, I don't even think it'll be until like August or September when it's like, you know, down to my age. And I was like, oh no, Tanya, I don't think it'll take that long. But so yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what happens. Now, like some of the gas stations I go into, I notice that like the gas station that Tanya and I go to regularly, the guy that works there, he's real nice, but nice or not, he never wears a mask. And Tanya said something to him like twice. Like the first time she was kind of like, he was kind of like, it was like when he first started there, he was a little kind of like rude to us. Now he's real nice and tells us stories and stuff. But like I don't remember what she said the first time, but the first time she said something about like, I can't even remember how she said it. But the second time she was real nice about it. And she was like, so do they not get upset if you guys don't wear masks? And he was like, no, I'm supposed to wear it. He was like behind this big plastic thing, but he was like, I'm supposed to wear it back here. He was like, he's like, I'm supposed to wear it, but like when I'm on the floor, I wear it, but when I'm out here, I don't. And I was like, okay, well, we come in here like 4 nights a week, and I've seen you out on the floor, and you never have a mask on, but whatever. It's not worth me getting into a fight with somebody over, you know? And I've noticed, like, being in gas stations too, I see like a lot of like younger people come in and they don't wear masks. I mean, not all of them, but if I see people that don't have masks on, it's typically younger people. The gas stations are really the only place I've seen that. I haven't witnessed it at any restaurants. You know, because to even come in, you have to have one. I haven't noticed in any of the meetings that I go to, but like people ask you to leave. I mean, and not in a rude way, but like if you came into a meeting without a mask, they would say like I mean, that's like comes from like the top that we've decided about the mask thing. So that's like, it's not just a personal issue at that meeting. I mean, it's like, you know, we've all like voted on that we agree with that. So people are really like, and there's always masks at meetings and, you know, all that stuff. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what happens. When, you know, I came back, everybody was like, nobody had any, like when I would talk to people, they'd say, oh, nobody in Florida wears masks. And I'd be like, that wasn't my experience. And they're like, well, wasn't it? And I think because everybody saw like what happened in South Beach on the news and stuff, everybody was like, well, wasn't it just like, you know, craziness? I'm like, well, we weren't by that. And they're like, well, what was it like at the hotels that you stayed at? I'm like, you had to have a mask on, like at all times. Like to walk around the pool, you had to have a mask on. Until you were sitting on your chair at the pool or at the beach, you had to have a mask on. And there were checkpoints. Like you couldn't come in at both places. You couldn't come in from the beach to the property unless you had a mask on. And you had a key showing that you were staying at the hotel. In both places we had wristbands, which I've never had that in Florida before. And it was very closely monitored. Walking around the hotel, you had to have a mask on unless you were sitting down, and then they had places marked where you could sit. I mean, it was very efficiently run. And I don't know if that was because we were staying at bigger resorts or not. At the one, they had, like when you got in the elevator, they had a guy standing there like 24 hours a day. And he would let so many people through to get on the elevator. And it was always just like 2 groups of people at a time, and then he'd make them wait and make them go up. I was kind of blown away, honestly, that it was so effectively run, because I had heard that Florida was just like crazy, you know, and I was a little apprehensive about it. I was like, I don't know how I feel about all this, you know, but even like the restaurants that we went to down there, and when I was telling my friends, they're like, was it really like that? I'm like, yeah, it really was. Like, I mean, it was just as hardcore as Indianapolis is, if not more, down there, you know. And I think it's because they want to stay open, you know, they want to continue to do that. So and traveling on the plane too. Oh, that was one of the things, was they said on the plane, they said something like, and if you don't wear a mask, we can ask you to leave. If you're not willing to wear a mask, like, we can ask you to get off the plane. And if you're asked to leave, you won't fly with us again, or something. They said that. I don't know. Something like that they said. And I asked the flight attendant, I said to her, I said, have you had people, who was I asking that to? I feel like it was her. I can't remember now. I said, have you guys had people that like are resistant to wearing masks? And she was like, yeah. Was it the guy that we met that flies a lot? And I was like, you've had to have people kicked off the plane? It was either this guy that we met that flies a lot, or it was the flight attendant, but I feel like it was the flight attendant on the way down there. And she was like, oh yeah. Who was it that I asked that to? I can't remember. I just can't imagine like getting on a plane, which, you know, you want to be safe anyway, and then being like, I don't know. I just can't even imagine. And being willing to like not fly, because and I think the reality is, you know, that we're going to be living in a very, very different world. Where am I out of time? I think we're going to be living in a very, very different world, you know, with there being restraints around things, which, okay, that's fine, you know, we live in a different world. I was coming home tonight from my meeting, and I was walking inside, and I don't know what reminded me of being in the lockdown last year. And it was something about, like, you know, I like literally lived in my car in the driveway that whole week. Cause, like, you know, Alex was asleep or whatever, and there was something kind of homey about that time, you know, of having my husband home every day. And it feels so weird that that was a year ago, you know. I think it was last Tuesday. No. It stopped right as I was trying to figure it out. I thought it was last Tuesday, but it was actually when we had dinner with Melissa and Jason. So what would that have been, last Thursday? Or 2 Thursdays ago. It was like the last time that we went to Cheesecake Factory. I remember we were walking out. Was it Cheesecake Factory? Yeah, the last time that we went to Cheesecake Factory with Melissa and Jason. And Melissa and Alex were talking about how that was like the 1-year anniversary from when we had gone into lockdown. It's weird to think, you know, like when I look at my life, like if you had told me 10 years ago or 5 years ago that we would live through, like, you know, that time, I would never have believed that, like, ever. So, anyway. See what happens this next stage. It's so beautiful out tonight. I'm really loving RuPaul's Drag Race UK. Did I tell you guys yesterday that I downloaded the app? So many people told me that all the shows were on the app, and I was like, oh, whatever. But anyway, I downloaded it. I paid my $39.99 for a year, and I downloaded it. So now I can watch everything from World of Wonder over there. All of the Alyssa secrets, which I love, with Alyssa Edwards, which is why I say boost. And people are like, you stole that from Alyssa Edwards. I'm like, yeah, I know that. I've said that from the beginning. That's why I have the Alyssa Edwards Anastasia Beverly Hills fan that says Beast on it. Well, actually, my fan I sent to Bunny, and then somebody else sent me another one, but I think I actually have 2 more that people had sent me in the past. Hey, Bunny, how are you? She's like, what? She watches my vlog every night because she always comments on it. But then it's got like both Drag Race UK's. The Australian one just came on there today, I saw. And then the Denmark one, I talked about this last night, didn't I? Canada, it's got all kinds of stuff on there. It's got a bunch of documentaries. But I really like the UK Drag Race. It just feels exactly like the US Drag Race, except for they're all from the UK. And it's interesting because their drag is like really, I mean, they're really talented. And especially in the second season, it's a completely different feel than the first season. And I really feel like a couple of them really came to win. I don't want to say who I really like yet, because it's interesting, because I wish, like, you know what we should do is we should write down in our first episode who we like. Well, I'll just say it right now, and if they get kicked off, they get kicked off. So I already knew that Bimini, like, everybody's talking about Bimini, so I don't know if Bimini won or not, but please don't tell me in the comment section below. But everybody's talking about her, so I kind of had my eye on her from the beginning anyway, and she's kind of a queen that I would like anyway. She's kind of a mix between like Alaska and Adore Delano, but she's very edgy in her own, and I really like that. But she didn't do well the first 2 episodes, so she must do something to just blow it out of the water for people. I mean, everywhere on Twitter people are talking about her, right? So she must do something. But what's interesting is that when you first start watching a season, who you like, is that who ends up being who you like at the end, right? Because on RuPaul's Drag Race at the beginning, the US season, like this one, 13, who I liked at the beginning is not who I like now. With the exception of Simone. I mean, I just liked Simone the whole time. But like Rosé, I was just kind of bored of at the beginning, and now I like Rosé a lot. So it'll be interesting. Right now on season 2 of the UK, I like Veronica Green. I think she's an interesting queen. She's kind of quiet when they're sitting there talking. But like, and I have a feeling something's going to happen and she's going to go in episode 3 or 4. I don't know why my gut tells me that. But she's just as like, like, I just don't think that her drag is as interesting as other people's. I think she's got a couple tricks up her sleeve. Maybe she'll go to the very end. I don't know. Like, I've been kind of blown away with what she's done, and I like her. I like her personality as a guy, too, like, out of drag, because, she's just kind of, like, nerdy and funny and blah, 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 whatever. He's, like, somebody that I would be friends with in real life. And that he actually reminds me of, like, a really good friend of mine. And then my friend that I've known, like, we went on a date with, and then we went on a date. My friend that I went on a date with back in the day, and then we just became friends, and we've been good friends ever since. Like, that's who he reminds me of. And then I really like Lawrence Chaney. I really like Lawrence Chaney's vulnerability. You know, it's funny because they all voted him on being, like, super cocky. He is, but maybe they're seeing something we're not seeing, because I think it's like a false sense of pride, confidence, and like, his humor is just hilarious to me. I'm trying to think of who else I like. Well, both queens that did Naomi Campbell, I was surprised that the one ended up winning, and they're like, oh, she's exactly like Naomi Campbell, which is surprising to me because I know RuPaul knows Naomi Campbell well, and I'm assuming Michelle Visage knows Naomi Campbell well. I mean, like, off, you know, like, knows her. And I have watched Naomi Campbell ever since I was like 18, and the Supermodels came out, and it was her and Christy Turlington and Linda Evangelista. I mean, they were like the three supermodels that were like making, you know, 10 to 20 grand a runway show, and they were friends with all the designers, and you know, and Naomi Campbell has a very specific walk that she does. If you've watched her for that long and you're a fan of hers, which I know that she's had some rude moments, but I love Naomi Campbell. I think she's gorgeous. She's probably my all-time favorite. I don't pick models real well, just so you know, okay? My favorite models are sometimes problematic. Like, I like Kate Moss, too. But Naomi Campbell, like, I have watched her for so long, and she has a very specific walk. A very, very specific walk. And it's not super slow. And the walk that the winning, I can't remember what her name is, but the winning, because she won that episode that she did, like, it was so slow. I was like, Naomi Campbell would never walk that slow. It was kind of weird. And they were like, oh, she just looked exactly like her. And I was like, really? I don't think she looked that much like her. But anyway, the outfit was similar, but other than that. But I liked her. I think she seems interesting. It'll be interesting to see what she does next. And then, the other one that played Naomi Campbell, I didn't think she looked or acted anything like her. The thing is, there's so many, like, specific mannerisms to Naomi Campbell, that, like, how she walks and how she turns and does stuff, and it's like her hair going back and forth, that there's so many things that you could do that you really wouldn't have to look anything like her, that you could, I mean, people could probably guess that's who it was, just by her runway walk, because her runway walk is fierce. It really is. Man, I was obsessed with those models back in the day. Eve, do you remember her, that had the shaved head? Was that her name? And that was like Cindy Crawford era. Who else? Nikki, I can't think of her last name. Who was the one that was married to John Mellencamp? Elaine, or was that her name? Elaine Irwin? I really liked her. I thought she was gorgeous. And Nikki, why can't I think of her last name? She ended up having twins, I think. I watched all of that fashion explosion happen. They were all in those George Michael videos, and they were best friends with Isaac Mizrahi. Isaac Mizrahi had a documentary that came out that was called, I think, Unzipped. It was fantastic. Or was that the movie? There was like a movie parody about Fashion Week. What was that called? Does anybody know what that fashion parody was? I would love to watch it. Or the one designer at the very end, she had all of her models walk completely nude. What was that movie? I would love to watch that movie again. It was so good. I don't remember what that was called. And I think she came out, and she was older, and she came out completely nude too. That was such a great movie. Anyway, I used to love all of that back in the day. It's like when that makeup artist, Steven Meisel, he was like really famous during that era, or during that era. And, you know, that's when like models and photographers and fashion designers were literally celebrities of the world, you know. It's so cool to watch all of that happen at that time. It's interesting when you see that today with like Gigi and Bella Hadid and, you know, some of the other models like that. It's different today. Well, you know, the other thing is it's a lot of like celebrities' kids that are becoming like models and actresses, which is, you know, I mean, it always has been like that, but it's interesting today, you know, to see that. And I think they're beautiful girls, but it's like different from like, I mean, I remember the first time I ever saw like Linda Evangelista, and I was like, what is this? Like, she is unbelievable. I mean, Linda Evangelista was like unbelievable looking, you know? And she and Chrissy Turlington and Naomi Campbell together, the three of them were just like, do you remember they used to cause like such problems because they would go out to like McDonald's and they would sit there and they would eat like all these Big Macs and stuff, and it'd be like on the front page of the paper in New York City, you know, like whatever, the New York Post or whatever, you know, like supermodels like eat, and there would be all these people outside of McDonald's in New York City watching them eat, like in the, do you guys remember that? It was like craziness like that. That was kind of like the Club Kid era at the same time. Like, I was really into all of that as well. I always kind of wonder what would have happened if I would have like moved to New York or Chicago or something like that during, I'd probably be dead right now. Probably wouldn't have made it out. There just was so much creativity and stuff there at the same time, you know? Different era. It's interesting, like Naomi Campbell. So there was a show a couple years ago. I can't remember what the show was called, but she was like a judge on it. Coco Rocha was a judge on it, and I don't know who the third person was. But there were three. It was a reality show with models, and they each had a team. And my friend Brittany was on the show, and she was the one that we saw in October when we were in, I just talked to her the other day, the one that was in, that we visited in October in Fort Lauderdale. She was on the show, and she was actually on the show with a girl here from Indianapolis that we were good friends with too. She stopped modeling, she had a bunch of kids and settled down. Really sweet, gorgeous. And Brittany was on the show, and I think she was on Naomi's team. And I don't remember what that show was called. But I was like, oh my God, I cannot believe that you got to meet Naomi Campbell. But like recently I went, like her, like if you go to her Instagram and stuff, she's still like, is just, I mean, she's still attending fashion shows and doing all that stuff. She's still kind of like in that, you know, celebrity life. And she dated Robert De Niro for a while, I think. But like I went and looked at Christy Charlington and Linda Evangelista's page, and they're just very like normal today. Like they're not into all of that. Like I think they have like shows on YouTube or something that they do where they talk about I don't know what. I haven't really looked. With their Instagrams, I mean, they just look like me and my good Judy's hanging out, you know. I think it would be so hard to live that life. I remember watching that movie Gia with Angelina Jolie. I think it's such a fantastic movie. But just like the part where she's just like going, flying, being on planes, you know, in Milan, then in London, then Paris, and you know, a shoot, and you know, Florida, and then Los Angeles, and then New York, and it's just like constant. I can't even imagine. And I think that's kind of how Gia got into drugs and stuff. If you've never seen the movie Gia with Angelina Jolie, you have to watch it. It's fantastic, but it is extremely sad. I'll just prepare you for that. All right, well, I'm going to get off here now, and I am going to listen to Dexter and finish that, and then I'm going to start People Who Eat Darkness, which is People Who Eat Darkness, People Who Eat Darkness. What? People Who Eat Darkness. Who? People Who Eat Darkness. For a true crime book club, and I hope you guys are having an amazing Wednesday, and if nobody else has told you this today, I love you. And if you need to hear it again, I love you, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Love ya! And for anybody that needs to hear it, one more I love you. I love you guys, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Love ya!